Hey, fat kid. Do you know why great literature came before the Great Depression?
Because people weren't reading it back then.
Nope, because great literature is fucking depressing.
That's kind of like what I meant.
Fine. Folks, we saw The Great Gatsby. And I'm curious, what did you think?
Not my type of movie.
No, it's... Oh. Well, where to begin? Great Gatsby follows... Well, Gatsby as...
Actually, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. It follows a guy who's following Gatsby. A man who's... It's a love story. He's after this one particular girl, but it doesn't go well. Let's see. How do we break this down? It's a classic story. It's been out for ages. What did you think of the story of the movie?
The story of Gatsby, by them telling it through another person's eyes, I think actually helps the story. Because I think if you were going through Gatsby's eyes and going at it like that, I think it would have made way too complicated of a story to follow.
Before we go further, I should mention, haven't read the book, neither has he, so if you're looking for a side-by-side comparison of, oh, this followed the book fantastically, we can't tell you. We're just going from what we saw in the movie here. But, go ahead.
No, they did a good job in the story. The story is a good story. Like I said, it's just not my type of movie. It's a good movie, just not my type of movie.
Yeah, it follows Tobey Maguire, who's the quote-unquote narrator. They even kind of poke a joke at it, the fact that, you love to watch there, don't you? As he moves into the place, this flat in the country that's next to this big, huge mansion owned by a guy named Gatsby, who he meets at this amazing party. And they become fast friends. And
Which I think actually, which is not actually mentioned in the movie, I'm pretty sure Gatsby actually ends up setting that up so that way he moves into that place.
Really?
That's what I got. That's what I got out of it. I mean, it doesn't mention it. It doesn't tell you it. It doesn't show you that that's what's going on. But the way Gatsby interacts with them, and it's on Gatsby's property. It's one of his servants' old houses that he used to have.
He was the only guy invited, so I could see Gatsby wanting him to be there. The movie clocks in at 2.5 hours, and it could have been cut, in my opinion.
I was almost clocked out at about half hour in. But, no, I mean, like I said, it's just not my type of movie. It was great. What did you think about, like, the visuals?
Oh, the visuals. If there's any reason to go see this in a theater, I would say it's the visuals. Especially the scenes at the party, the way the city lights up. The cinematography is fantastic, and I like nice little nods, like when it gets towards the end, and we won't spoil what happens at the end, but essentially if you look at Gatsby's house, it's sort of like, you sort of get a gist of what's coming. All of a sudden, the plant life, which was alive and vibrant throughout the film, all of a sudden start to get really black.
Well, here's the funny thing. They actually do that throughout the whole movie.
Okay.
They do. It's funny. If you watch the movie, it looks like the director tried to use... Like, if you read a book, you see how the writer's getting you into what they envision, what they see, little hints and stuff about, like, surroundings. They try to draw you in. And it was almost as if the director was using the same type of approach as if you were reading a book, using your, like him making these subtle things to let you understand what's happening, what's going on around. There's a part where the phone rings in Gatsby's place when he's with the girl that he's been trying for. Now there's a scene also that takes place beforehand where she's with this other guy and the phone rings, and there's this whole thing that follows behind it. So when it happens at Gatsby's place, you start seeing like it's like a happy surrounding. You start seeing it get dark. You start seeing a little bit of the wind pick up. And it's kind of like shadowing, showing you that, all right, wait a minute. She's running from this because it happened before. And you kind of see not exactly the same situation, but a similar situation. And it kind of like the lighting, the movements, the area, everything in the movie, if you watch it, every time there's an emotion and stuff, the background is always interacting with the actors.
If you, seriously, the movie in and of itself, just through the visuals, is a work of art. And I could see how this would be a good one to watch in 3D, actually, in some of the scenes.
I would pay $50 to see this movie.
Fair enough.
The visual effects are great, but again, it's not my type of movie. I don't know how many times I'm going to stress that because, like I said, it is a good movie. It is.
It is, yeah. I mean, there were plenty of fans of the book, which shocked me. It was almost a full crowd. I'm sure a lot of them was guys trying to impress their girlfriend and like, see, I'm cultural. I love literature.
No. It's the girlfriend wanted to go see a movie and it was her turn to pick.
Fair enough. Let's go through some of the actors. Now, first, Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays Gatsby. Now, answer me this: is it his new goal in life to become Sean Connery?
No.
Listening to the way he talked, the way he presented himself.
It's the character.
I know. It's funny because the way he keeps saying, what was it, old sport?
Oh my god. If I heard Old Sport one more time, I was just going to, I swear, if they just turned Old Sport into Old Spice, they could turn the movie into one huge commercial for Old Spice. He says it every 5 minutes he's on screen. There is not one sentence he's ever seen where you hear him talking to any guy. Old Sport.
I brought this up in the car on the way back. If you guys, I'm sure you've seen it by now. There is a YouTube video from Scarface that's essentially every time Tony Montana says the word fuck, and if you watch them all from beginning to end, you essentially see the movie. You could just watch that and say, okay, I get a gist of it. I think you could do the same thing with Old Sport and Great Gatsby.
I don't know if you're allowed to put that long of a span on YouTube. I mean, it's like, I swear, whoever was writing that had copyright to that phrase because he was very free with it constantly. I don't think I've ever seen any sailor movie or any movie of any time period where anybody has said Old Sport more than 5 times in a 2-hour span. This dude does it in the first clip you see him.
Very true. Now, in my opinion, as annoying as Old Sport got after a while, you could make a drinking game out of it. That's the only thing I could complain about with DiCaprio's performance. I thought he was fantastic here.
And you can even complain about that with his performance. That's all the writing.
Yeah. But, yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was, the most noteworthy, one of the more noteworthy things of this movie, aside from the cinematography. I thought he really made the character to life, and I really came to like The Great Gatsby, which is helped further by the fact that he's the only, in my opinion, the only character in the movie that's not a completely horrid person.
No. Well, the guy following him isn't either.
No, I include him. He could have stopped a lot of that if he just told him.
Yes, but you gotta remember, he's walking a fine line. He's the outsider. That's why he even mentions it in the movie. He's he's inside, but he's outside. He doesn't fit in anywhere. He's trying to find his place, and he never does. He doesn't know whose side or where he belongs.
Oh, I want to go into it, but that would be spoilers. And even though this book has been around for 100 years, I'm sure some of you haven't seen it. As far as Tobey Maguire, I don't blame this on Toby. I blame this on his character. The character is essentially just there to be the narrator of the movie.
He's the bridge between everybody in the movie. Even though he's the narrator, he's the connection that connects everybody all the time. He's pretty much like the phone, the messenger.
Yeah, he's essentially the bridge between all the characters, but there are certain parts of it where he does something or doesn't do something that I'm like, okay, why wouldn't you do that? And the fact that him just pleasing everyone, okay, made me just dislike the character. But, once again, that's no fault to Toby. Toby, I thought, did a great job what he had. All the characters, if that's the way, if the point of it is all these people are terrible, then every actor in this movie did a fantastic job.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, you're playing a horrid person. I can do that. Old Sport? No.
One thing also I liked about this movie is I know you wanted to talk about it too. The way they kept the visuals of the times.
Yes, yes.
And then they had try to integrate. I don't know if I want to say succeeded, but they try to integrate music of that time and this time period.
That was jarring for me. I mean, at one moment you'd have like, what's the dancing that style called?
I have no idea.
Flappers. They had that flapping music from the...
I'm pretty sure I've never heard of flap dancing.
But you never heard of a flapper?
No.
That's
I've heard of the clapper, but not the flapper.
Flappers was you know how the women were dressed with the skirts down here and the hat? That's called the way they're dressed, it's a flapper. And she would go and dance out. But anyway.
You learn something new every day.
Well, that's more you know. But anyway. It was a little jarring that we'd go from 1920s music to 2013 rap music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, again, we weren't back in the day, we weren't around, but like they take some of the stuff that goes on nowadays with people and they integrate it into that. And, I understand like back in the day, like the African Americans had like a different lifestyle that they had to live. But they this movie, like they're either playing music, singing, or they're like
staring at
servants.
Yeah, which once again, you don't know whether to call the movie on this or not, because that could have just
been the time period.
Yeah, I mean, well, the servant part, I don't know about, like, yeah, they all play jazz music and dance in the street.
Brendan, there was white servants also, not just
yes.
all African American, but no, I mean, you didn't really have any characters that stuck out. They were just like background people.
Yeah, there was, and so they would just either sing, they would dance, or they were just background. And of course, you whenever you saw one, you would either get like jazz or rap music whenever one of the characters showed up, like on cue.
Yeah, like the crystal in the car as they're all driving.
Now, I'm in the same boat as you. I can't say that this was my cup of tea as far as a movie, but at the same time, I can't say this is a bad movie.
No, it's definitely not a bad movie. It's just not something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, for the visuals, I would say that alone goes to it. I thought DiCaprio gives a really good performance. I don't know if this is the Oscar performance he's looking for, but it's still a great performance. I would say, if you see it in theaters, don't see it at night. Try and get a matinee showing or something and save yourself some money.
It's definitely worth seeing once. I will say that. It's not like my favorite movie, but I don't regret seeing it. It's not like Scary Movie 5 regret.
No. that is the standard as far as a crap movie. So.
Once you hit that first wall of garbage, that becomes like your stand on it. If it's not as bad as that trash, until you reach the new wall, which I hope we don't reach for a long time.
Oh gosh, I will admit, Scary Movie 5, I almost left, and I'm cheap. It's like, no, I paid for it. I'm not just going to give him money and leave. But there were several times I looked at Ryan, and we were both thinking, should we?
We should have. We so should have. But no, this movie has like a great cast. Great visual effects, great storytelling, and the way they went about it was just really good. And and you could tell, it was kind of just when Tobey Maguire's character's narrating it. Apologize for not knowing the character's name anymore because I just watched the movie and I should know the character's name, but it was, you could tell it's narrated by a writer.
Yeah.
And the script is very well written to show you that the person who's writing it is the one narrating it, and I think that was a really cool connection they made.
Yeah, the story works. It's slow for a good chunk of it. You get like a lot of good stuff happening in the beginning, slow. Then at a certain point, all of a sudden, all heck breaks loose.
Yeah, but it's based on a novel.
I don't know about 2.5 hours though.
Like I said, a lot of people don't want to sit there and take a book and read it like 2 or 3 days, not depending on how much time you have in the day. Compared to going and see like a 2.5 hour movie.
But yeah, it's definitely worth it. I would say once again, don't spend the full $10 to go see it. Just save yourself some money. Go in the evening. All right, folks. That's been another review of ours. Please like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to hear more from us. And we'll see you next week as we'll be back with Star Trek Into Darkness.
Finally, a movie that, you know what, I don't want to jinx it, but this is another one of those movies where, I know it's gonna be good. I hate Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars fan by heart all day long. Not that there's anything wrong with Star Trek. It's just never been to a point where I actually wanted to watch it. But I watched the last Star Trek, and let me tell you, I don't know if it's the cast, the new writing, the direction they're going. I mean, it was just awesome. I actually loved that movie. And I was like, wow, I've actually liked a Star Trek movie. I can't believe it.
Yeah, me and my wife went to see it because, to be honest, I thought it would be a train wreck. I'd never heard of J.J. Abrams as...
Or there was no flying blue whales that needed to be transported to save Earth or something.
But no, we were pleasantly surprised, and it's turned to one of our favorite movies. So, yeah, definitely can't wait for that. Folks, what do you think? Do you think Star Trek Into Darkness is going to be awesome? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next week.